chocolate as a hot drink to cure apoplexy, which that's dealing with the organs, a stroke, something dealing with the brains or bleeding. But just to think of it, they used to put human parts into hot chocolate and just drink it as a cure. Make it make sense.
You didn't know.
And talk to us about human rights. But what's even more disturbing is that we entertain them and we don't remind them of these skeletons in their closet. Our leaders, our ancestors who fought the wars of resistance, their heads, their remains are sitting in jars throughout Europe. And the same people have the audacity to come to Africa and talk to us about human rights. But what's even more disturbing is that we entertain them and we don't remind them of these skeletons in their closet.
You didn't know.
I thought at one time, all this stuff right here, it was, like just a story tale, not knowing that some of this stuff is actually true. Where I really think of Jeffrey Dahmer. You remember when he was eating humans, but this right here, guys, I promise you, I can't even make it up even if I want to. And it got a lot of information out there. And the reason why we don't know what's going on, because we take their words as Bible. But I want to go ahead and pull up this article. I think it says, by eating corpse, rich Europeans once thought they could heal themselves. And I've been doing so much research where they were saying that the reason why they used to eat, humans, especially going to Africa, eating Africans, and you're going to be surprised the stuff that I went ahead and pulled up. Some of they say the reason why they was doing it to gain power, their strength, and man, it's just a lot.
The practice you describe, known historically as medical cannibalism, indeed has roots stretching back to the 12th century, when Europeans began consuming mummies for medicinal purposes. Here's a closer look at this phenomenon. Origins. The practice can be traced back to the medieval period, where the term mumia became synonymous with a healing substance. This was due to a misunderstanding of the Arabic word mumia, which referred to bitumen, a substance used in Egyptian mummification thought to have healing properties. Use of mummies. Over time, the use of actual human remains, particularly those of ancient Egyptians, became widespread in Europe. The mummies were ground into powder, which was then incorporated into various medications. This was believed to cure everything from headaches to epilepsy, and even the plague. Cultural fascination. There was a significant European fascination with ancient Egypt, fueled by the Renaissance and later by Napoleon's expedition to Egypt, which further popularized the practice. Mummies were seen as exotic and were thought to carry the essence of a long-preserved life, hence the belief in their medicinal properties. Racial and ethical dimensions. Racial aspect. Your mention of Black indigenous Kemetu taps into a broader discussion about race and the historical treatment of ancient remains. The term Kemetu refers to the ancient Egyptians themselves, known for their diverse appearances, including what we might now recognize as Black or African features. However, historical records do not specify that the mummies consumed were chosen for their racial characteristics, but rather for the belief in their curative properties. Ethics and perception. The practice today is viewed through a lens of ethical horror due to the desecration of human remains and the cultural insensitivity it represents. It's a stark reminder of how far removed past medical practices can be from modern ethical standards. Bafuri, end of the practice. Decline. The practice began to wane with the rise of scientific medicine in the 18th and 19th centuries, which started to question these traditional remedies. However, as you noted, the last documented sale of medical mummy powder in Europe was in 1908, indicating that the practice persisted longer in some areas despite the scientific enlightenment. Legacy. Today, this practice is studied as part of the history of medicine, highlighting how cultural beliefs can influence medical practices. It serves as an example of how science, ethics, and cultural perceptions evolve over time.
Wow, unbelievable. Europeans were really backward medically until the 19th century. I was shocked to know that 17th, 18th century Asante Empire of Ghana was more medically advanced than the Europeans. But through my research, just to know that Europeans were eating mummies for power says a lot. Talk about savages.